Hi, Christine. I've looked over your lesson plan and here's some feedback for you. Let me just say that this lesson plan is wonderful. It's very well done, very carefully crafted. So I'll just go through some parts of the lesson plan that I liked in particular that you can continue to do. So looking at the rubric in the elements and presentation section, this is well done. I think that the prior content knowledge that you assumed comes from your previous lesson, and so that's a decent assumption. And your new content knowledge aligns very nicely with what you're teaching as well as the established goal. So nice work here. Moving on to the desired results section, I was glad to see that you've drilled down to one specific evidence outcome and focused on that for the task of this lesson. I think that your essential questions global are very well done because these are questions that real people talk about, speaking and communicating. And your essential questions for the content area are well done because they align with your evidence outcomes. Your students will be able to is well done. Because you have a piece from the evidence outcome followed by the word by and then an observable outcome. You have that model in all of these pieces. Here's the one change I'd like you to make. You don't need to tell me about what you will be doing. This specifically is students will be able to. So you can delete these pieces that say like my modeling. In other words, it would read like this. Identify and analyze the figures of speech, metaphor, and paradox in the text by practicing with a small group, for instance, okay? You could say use annotation in a text and further text learning by completing exercises under my guidance, okay? So I see this in the lesson plan. You can go ahead and get rid of that part. These are the kinds of things that you would write up on the board so that the students can see what it is that you expect them to do by the end of the class. Okay? Your assessments are well aligned and look well thought through. If you'll recall, at this moment, I'm not necessarily grading your assessments. I'm checking for alignment and completion, and you have met both of those standards. So now looking into the learning plan, and again, looking to the rubric to guide me here, this is just excellent, just excellent. I think you have a very engaging opening. I love to see that you're including some of the Lamov techniques in here. You are demonstrating to the students in this opening that you expect them to be able to recall what it is they've done from day to day and apply that information. Doing something like this once or twice won't, do much for you or the students, but consistently having a piece like this in the opening of your lesson plan demonstrates your expectation to the students that they are remembering what you're doing in class and that they're consistently able to apply it. So you have a very engaging opening, and your objectives are very clear for the day as well. Hold on, let me scroll down to that part. Right here, specifically looking at figures of speech, the definition of those speech, and then looking at those in the first three paragraphs. So that I think your objective is very clear to them for the day. And then the relevance is very clear to them too, because you continue to have the students discuss why it is that we look at figures of speech. And I really like how you do that here in group discussion. Oftentimes as teachers, I think we're tempted to just tell students why we're doing what we're doing, tell students why it's important. And the fact that you ask them to think about it and share some of their thoughts about why it's important is a very powerful move. It shows, it's the same thing as before. If you did this once or twice, I don't think it would make all the difference. But if you're consistently using this kind of a teaching style, you're demonstrating to the students that you don't just want them taking notes, but that you want them thinking about the application of these ideas to different areas, in this case, to a piece of text, right? Your lesson plan is very easy to follow. I feel like it's very fluid, and I feel like your transitions are well done. And such that you ask them to answer, then you conclude for them and then move on to say, we're going to apply this information through the use of annotation. Um, I looked at your PowerPoint already too, and your guided practice is just beautiful. You demonstrate how we analyze a text and you demonstrate why we analyze a text. I love here that you talk about analyzing a text is looking at how your lecture notes apply and their own thoughts on understanding the story. I think that many teachers leave this second part out, and I like that you included that. Okay. Um, uh, Walking them through a piece of guided practice like this, where I have denotative meaning as well as symbolism, is very nicely done. And then being able to move them on to independent practice so that they can go practice exactly what you've done in class while you're right there to help them in case they need it. Okay, so the learning plan portion of this is just beautiful, just beautiful. This lesson plan is a 10 out of 10. I really enjoyed reading it, and I really enjoyed and appreciated all the effort you put into this. Thanks, Christine.